Welcome once again to the biology online classes. So, in the previous classes, we have studied about the health, diseases, and the diseases caused by various pathogens. And also, we have seen about immunity. So, what is immunity? Immunity is the ability of the host, okay, to fight the disease causing organisms conferred by immune system. Okay, means the ability of the ability by which we are able to not having disease, and this is due to what? Due to the presence of the immune system in our body. And immunity is of two types. What are they? Innate immunity and acquired immunity. We have seen this. Innate immunity means what? It's a general type, isn't it? Non-specific means what? It is not specific type of immunity to a particular disease. Okay, it is generally the features by which the body prevents the diseases, isn't it? So it includes what? Physical barriers, presence of skin, mucus coating. Okay, uh, okay. Then what? Physical barriers means what? Some of the what enzymes or some of the acids present in stomach, then what? Saliva, tears, etc. are having some what material that prevent the microbial growth, isn't it? Then cellular barriers. Cellular barriers means WBCs. Okay, means different cells of WBCs which help in giving immunity. Then cytokine barriers means there is one example, that is what? Viral infected cells. They produce what? Interferons, isn't it? So all this we have studied. And what is acquired immunity? That is, it's pathogen specific and it is produced in the body when we confront a pathogen in our lifetime. Understood? So that immunity will come only if the pathogens are introduced into our body. Understood? So we can I told the example of chicken pox, isn't it? Once chicken pox comes, it is means not generally the second time the chicken pox will not come to you, okay, because first time your body already had an encounter with the what viruses, isn't it? So the response of the body towards any pathogen for the first time is called primary response. And the next time, okay, the next time when the body encounters the same type of pathogen, okay, then the body shows, okay, the body will have secondary or anamnestic response, isn't it? And the primary and secondary responses are carried out by the cells called what? Lymphocytes, isn't it? B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes in different ways. P lymphocytes, how they give immunity by producing proteins called antibodies. T cells, what they do? They help the B cells to produce the antibodies. Then we have studied about the structure of an antibody molecule, isn't it? Each antibody molecule, what are they? They are proteins only, and they are having what? Four polypeptide chains. Okay, two small chains called light chains, and two longer chains called heavy chains. Okay, so only it is represented by H2L2. Then examples of different antibodies are IgA, IgM, IgE, IgG, etc. Isn't it? And then I told you antibodies, as they are found in the blood. Okay, so the response is called humoral immune response, and another type of response is what? The cell mediated immunity. Understood? So humoral immune response is there, then cell mediated immunity. Okay, so T lymphocytes are responsible for CMI. Understood? So I told you when any organ transplantation takes place, isn't it? Then the lymphocytes that are responsible for the graft rejection is what the cell mediated immune response. Okay, because the body is not able to identify the self and non-self. So this much we have studied in the previous class, isn't it? Now I'm going to teach you another topic, that is active and passive immunity. Okay, so active immunity means what? When a host, okay, get exposed to any particular type of pathogen, I told in their body antibodies are produced, isn't it? So this type of immunity is known as what? Active immunity. That is when the body gets, or any infection happens in the body, okay, what will happen in our body? Antibodies will be produced. But the problem is what? It is very slow and takes time to give its full response. Understood? So this is what, see, for example, corona or any other type of pathogens, if it comes directly to the body, what will happen? Body will prepare the antibodies, okay, and it will start fighting. But that won't be what then depends upon the number of organisms that entered into your body, pathogens entered into your body. Okay, the antibody production will be very less, and there will be what? Severe fight between the pathogen and the antibodies. Sometimes what happen, if the number of pathogens entered is more in your body, okay, and if the antibodies produced are less, then what will happen? Your body will get the disease, isn't it? The pathogen will overpower the antibodies. Understood? So we are doing what? We are taking vaccines, isn't it? Vaccines are what actually? The microbes, isn't it? Microbes are infectious agents or their products. They are not what? They are not fully what? The pathogens, okay, they'll be killed or they'll be attenuated, means they'll be weakened, and then this proteins or the protein or any other part of the microbes, okay, which can be identified by the cells in our body, will be introduced into the body, so that what happened, the body will recognize. At the same time, the vaccine which is received by the body is not able to produce the disease, but it is just enough to evoke our immune system. So what will happen? The immune system will become active and they start producing what? Antibodies. And this antibodies are having, or when antibodies are produced, okay, that means to identify the pathogen's nature. And this antibody, I told, it is specific, pathogen specific, okay. So for antibody produced by the for the chicken pox is not effective for what? Corona or any other type of disease. So they are very specific. So by the time body what recognize it and produces the antibodies, we will get the disease. Okay, so only what we are doing, we are giving vaccines. So we are making our body prepare for what? To produce the antibodies. Is it clear? So once this vaccines are introduced into the body, what will happen? The antibodies will be prepared, and the next time when the real organisms come in contact with you, what will happen? Already antibodies are prepared in our body and they will just come into action. Understood? So this is the reason why we are taking vaccines. Understood? So this kind of immunity is also an example for active immunity, because our body is what? Body is preparing the antibodies after getting in touch with the microorganisms. Understood? So this kind of immunity is called what? Active immunity. Understood? So what is active immunity? When a host is exposed to antigens, okay, it can be living or it can be dead or some proteins from them, okay, then what happened? The body produces antibodies. This kind of immunity is called what? Active immunity. So vaccines are what examples of what only? Active immunity. Then what is passive immunity? When ready-made antibodies are directly given. Understood? That case is called what? Passive immunity. For example, okay, you might have taken tetanus toxin. Okay, anti-tetanus toxins. When any wound or any cut happens in your body. Okay, so why you are taking? Actually bacteria causes what? Tetanus. It can cause tetanus, and if the the TT is taken, that can be prevented. Means by the time the body prepares antibodies, what will happen? The person might have big problem. So before that, what we are doing here, prepared antibodies. Antibodies will be prepared from other persons or organisms. Okay, and the prepared antibodies will be directly injected, or anti venom. Okay, venom means what? Poisons, snake's poison. Understood? If anyone is having snake bite, we cannot wait our body to get to prepare the antibodies. Okay, so what we can do? We can give the anti venom. Understood? Already prepared one will be available, and that is directly injected to the body. Understood? So these are examples of what? Passive immunity means what? Ready made antibodies are given. Understood? Here body is not preparing the antibody. Here we are giving what? The ready made antibodies. But in active immunity, how it is? The body is allowed to what? Prepare the antibodies even in vaccination. Is it clear? Then have you heard about colostrum? We have studied in reproduction chapter, isn't it? Colostrum. So colostrum is what? It is secreted by mother's milk, isn't it? Or in mother's milk. Okay, and this contains abundant antibodies IgA that gives immunity to the child. So this is the reason it is compulsorily said to what? Give colostrum, or the milk produced by the mother during the initial days to the baby. Okay, because it is having abundant antibodies IgA that can prevent the fetus from different diseases. Understood? So these are examples of what? Passive immunity. So as I told, vaccination and immunization, isn't it? So are examples of passive immunity. Okay? The principle of immunization or vaccination, that is mainly depend on the property of memory of the immune system. Understood? So in vaccination, what we are doing? We are giving a antigenic protein. Antigenic protein means, antigen means what? Any foreign bodies, not the antigen of what? Our blood. Antigen also refers what? Any foreign bodies. Okay, proteins that enters into the body. Okay, so any antigenic proteins of pathogen, or sometimes what? Inactivated or weakened pathogens are introduced into the body. Understood? And then what will happen? The body is preparing the antibodies against it. Okay, so the vaccines also can generate B lymphocytes and T cells that can recognize the pathogen next time. Understood? So that is another what important thing. The antibodies will be produced in the body, and then what? It can also produce what? B lymphocytes and memory B cells and T cells. So what will happen next time when the pathogen comes, the same kind of pathogen comes? What will happen? The body can recognize it fastly, so that it can produce the what? The antibodies very quickly. Understood? So this is the reason what we are doing. What this is what we are doing during vaccination, and this is not possible in case of some urgent cases like snake bite, or in the what? Tetanus, etc. Okay, we cannot wait for the body to prepare the antibodies. Before that, something a harmful thing will happen. So in that we can prepare, or we can give what, the already prepared antibody. So that kind of immunity is known as, or that kind of what that is known as passive immunization. Okay, passive immunization. And active immunization's example is what? Vaccination, isn't it? So by this we are giving immunity. Understood? Then recombinant DNA technology. Okay, that we will study in later, and that allowed, or that helped us to produce antigenic polypeptides. Means the it is not necessary that every time we have to introduce the, okay, the microorganism which causes the disease, or in its weakened form. Now technology is developed so that some proteins of the pathogen, okay, can be synthesized, and then it can be introduced so that the body will recognize it, and they will start producing what, antibodies. So large scale production of vaccine is possible due to what, this recombinant DNA technology. Okay, so hepatitis B vaccine is produced from this technique. Okay, now next topic is what, allergy. Okay, so allergy is what, the overreaction, the exaggerated response of the immune system, okay, to certain harmless antigens is called what, allergy. Okay, so you might have heard many people are suffering from allergy. Okay, so some dust if it comes, or what, so many things, any what, hairs from pets, all this causes what, severe allergies. So actually allergy is what, it's a problem of the immune system itself. The immune system is overreacting. Understood? So the substances that causes the immune response is known as allergens. Okay, and the antibody involved in this is IgE. Okay, so what are the allergens? Common allergens are dust, pollen, isn't it, animal dander, etc. And what are the symptoms of allergy? Like sneezing, watery eyes, running nose, difficulty in breathing. All these are what? The examples or symptoms, sorry, symptoms of allergy. Okay, so how this is happening? Due to the release of histamine and serotonin from the mast cells. Do you remember mast cells, where they are in areolar connective tissue? You have studied. Okay, mast cells, macrophages, fibroblast, etc. These are what, connective tissue. Which one? Areolar connective tissue. And in that mast cells are there, and they produce what, histamines and serotonin. And this, okay, is the reason for what, the allergy to means occur. Understood? So how we can identify what kind of or what substance caused this allergy? So for that, what is possible, small doses of allergens can be given. Understood? Or it can be means the person can be exposed or injected, and then we can study the reaction. Okay, so for this, what medicines we can give? Antihistamines, okay, adrenaline, steroids, etc. They can be given so that what, the symptoms can be reduced. Okay, so this way, okay, in this way we can reduce the symptoms of allergy. And modern day lifestyles, okay, that lowers the immunity, and it increases the sensitivity to the allergens. Means due to the modern lifestyle we are exposed to, we are having not healthy food, isn't it? So because of all this, what, the immune system become what, their power will become less, and we are becoming more sensitive to allergens. Okay, so this is the reason why more children are getting suffering from allergies and asthma. Okay, so this how we can reduce by the protection of our environment, isn't it? Clear? And keeping ourselves healthy. So these are what, allergy. So allergy means what? is the overreaction, exaggeration of the immune system. Clear? So, this is also what one problem of our immune system. Clear? Okay, so we'll continue in the next class with the autoimmunity. Thank you very much.